Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavvrinda ki jai. Om अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। तथापि संभोग सुखादपि स्तुतः सकोऽप्यनिर्वाच्यतमो मनोरमः। प्रमोदराशि परिणामतो ध्रुवम् तत्र स्फुरेत्तद् रसिकैकवेद्यः। By the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are continuing our reading of Srila Sanatan Goswami's Sri Brhad Bhagavatamrta. Shri Krishna is speaking to Satyabhama Devi while other queens are listening, Rukmini Ityadi. Shri Krishna is saying, but this anguish of separation is praised as greater than the happiness of enjoying with those one loves. Shri Krishna has brought Shripad Narad Muni inside the Sabha, and Shri Krishna is glorifying the importance of Vipralambha Seva. Vipralambha, or separation from Krishna, Viyog, causes pain. However, Shri Krishna is saying that it is a greater bliss than Sambhog. Sambhog and Viyog, there are two things, union and separation. But this anguish of separation, Viyog, is praised, Stutaha, as greater than happiness. Sukhad api, the happiness of Sambhog, enjoying with those one loves. Separation is so pleasing to the mind that it cannot be described. Anirvachaniya. It always transforms at last into an abundance of pleasure. Manoramaha pramoda. It becomes a cause of great pleasure. Separation, the anguish of separation. But only experts, the Rasika Vaishnavas, only experts in tasting these moods can understand how this happens. Vedya, they can understand. Those who are Rasik. Rasik means connoisseurs of rasa, bhakti rasa. And rasa means the wonderful, tasteful pleasure that is enjoyed by Sri Krishna and his pure devotee in their unique individual relationship in either Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, or Madhura. Commentary by Srila Sanatan Goswami Prabhupada. The so-called bliss of merging into the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth is often said to be indescribable, anirvachaniya. But the bliss of pure premananda, is even harder to describe. Anirvachaniya tama. Anirvachyatama. See here, the word is Anirvachyatama means it's most indescribable. And the more and most hardest to describe is the inconceivable ecstasy of transcendental love in separation, Vipralamba Bhav, which is born in pain but grows into the greatest possible pleasure. Hari Bol. The ecstasy of separation is not the miserable experience it seems to outsiders. It is manorama, the cause of full satisfaction of the heart. Why it is the cause of full satisfaction for the heart? Because externally there is separation, but internally there is union through remembrance. If someone still asks how one can feel happy during misery, that person should know that only the rasikas, those who have spontaneous eagerness to taste this prem ras, can understand it. Others cannot. Shri Krishna is revealing very deep tattva here in Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrta. Tachoka dukho paramasya paschachittam yatah purnataya prasannam samprapta sambhogamah sukhena sampannavattishthati sarvadaiva. After the pain of despair is relieved, dukkha uparamasya. Uparama means when it is gone. After the pain of despair is gone, one's heart feels fully satisfied. Purnataya prasannam. Delighting constantly as one enjoys the great pleasure of meeting with one's beloved. Samprapta sambhoga mahasukha. One gets the great bliss of union with one's beloved. After the dukkha shok of separation, then one delights constantly in the enjoyment of meeting one's beloved. Shri Krishna is saying. And in that Sambhoga Mahasukh, one experiences that, one becomes Sambhoga Mahasukh Sampanna, and experiencing that, Tishtati Sarvadaiva. One certainly remains situated in that bliss. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam. Those who have not yet realized their natural attraction toward Krishna cannot understand the ecstasy of separation. So, who can understand the ecstasy of Vipralamba separation? Only those who have spontaneous attraction for Krishna. It takes some degree of spiritual advancement to understand the ecstasy of separation. They should not vainly pretend to be expert in things to which they have no real access, but should instead take guidance from the authentic Rasik Vaishnavas in the line of Vaishnava Parampara on how to gradually become fit for understanding the subtleties of bhakti, devotion. Faithful hearing and service are required. Shushrusho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi. That is required. Faithful hearing. And also one has to do seva, service. Shushrusho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi. Sanmaya Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. The pure devotees are called Punya Tirtha. And Nishevanat means by serving them. Then everything is revealed. By hearing and by serving. Two things. Hearing from the great souls, hearing carefully to their Harikatha, and rendering some service to them. Faithful hearing and service are required. Hearing from the Rasik Vaishnavas, advanced Vaishnavas, then the magic will happen. That is how we can understand the deeper aspects of devotion. we cannot, Srila Sanatana Goswami is saying, we cannot just vainly pretend to be expert. Sometimes we pretend to be experts and then we question, why did Krishna leave the Vrajvasis and go? Why did Krishna not come back to Vrindavan for such a long time? Why did Lord Ramachandra send Sita to the ashram of Valmiki Muni when she was pregnant with Love and Kush? Why did he abandon her? Why did Krishna abandon the Vrajvasis? Why did Ramachandra Bhagwan, Shri Ram, abandon Shri Sita Devi? So we should not pretend to be advanced. We cannot give lectures on Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavatam and then harbor these doubts in the mind. One must understand Vipralambha Seva. What is the tattva? The truth about Viraha Bhav and Sambhog Bhav. Shri Srimad Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj would say they are the two banks of the river of Prem. Prem and Leela. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hema Abhadivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Maha Prema Rasa Pravaha. Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Prema Nadi Pravaha. As the river Pravaha flows, there are two banks. Sambhog and Viraha or Vipralambha. Sambhog is also called as Milan. Union and separation. Both tat are there. Two banks are there. And we must understand the tattva of the tata. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj wrote a beautiful book. It is actually a compilation of his lectures, some of which were given in 1992 here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the ISKCON Atlanta Temple. It's a very holy place. Some of those lectures have become chapters in that book. The Embankment of Separation. Viraha Tat. Viraha Tat. Embankment means bank, the side of the river representing separation. Other side represents Milan. And Radha and Krishna go like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes union, sometimes separation. All the time enjoying the ecstasy. Sometimes we eat salty, savory food. And sometimes we eat desserts, sweet dishes. Both are required. So we must understand what is love and separation. Vipralambha Seva. Still, the material mind is demanding. So neophytes may ask, doesn't excessive misery normally result in either delusion or death? Why should unlimited joy arise from misery? They don't understand what Sitaji is experiencing in the ashram of Valmiki Muni in separation from Sri Ram and what Sri Ram is experiencing while performing Yajna with no Sita sitting on his left side, only a golden idol of Sita. And they don't understand what ecstasy Sri Sita Devi is experiencing in the ashram of Valmiki Muni, teaching Love and Kush about the character and the qualities of their father, Sri Ram. Hare Krishna. They don't realize the ecstasy Srimati Sita Devi is feeling, hearing the composition of Sri Valmiki Muni in Sri Valmiki Muni's ashram. Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam. That's what Sitaji is experiencing. That they don't understand. They do not understand the ecstasy that Srimati Radharani is experiencing while speaking to the black bumblebee, thinking it to be a messenger of Sri Shama Sundar. Haribol. That they don't understand. Why should unlimited joy arise from misery, they ask. Granted, The laws of nature dictate that pleasure is generally followed by pain, and pain is followed by pleasure. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna, sukha dukkhada. But this doesn't mean that the pain literally becomes pleasure and pleasure literally becomes pain. It means that circumstances in this world are always changing, so that neither pleasure nor pain can long continue without being replaced by the other. To say that some kind of suffering matures into highest ecstasy is unreasonable. This is the argument they give. In answer to such demands to justify viraha bhav by logic, what pure devotees, rasikas, personally experience may be offered as definite evidence. The proof of the pudding is in eating it. The proof that Hapus Amba, Alfonso mango is the best. What is the proof? It's in eating it. Eat different mangoes and then eat Hapus Amba and see what happens. Sometimes personal experience is definite evidence. This is called Pratyaksha Praman. If someone says sugar is sweet, hey, what is the proof? Can you prove it in the laboratory? Not required. I have experienced it. Pratyaksha Praman. Pure devotees do indeed enjoy ecstasy in separation. Those who have experienced Vipralambha Seva, Viraha Bhav, and the ecstasy that manifests from it, they know. It is experiential. One has to experience it. Simply words do not do justice. It is a question of experience. And that experience comes from love. So pure devotees do indeed enjoy ecstasy in separation. And since no other cause of this ecstasy can be ascertained, the cause must be their intense experience of what appears from the outside to be suffering. Appears suffering. But actually it is very, very ecstatic. Once we were invited to one devotee's home, and after they served us prasadam, for dessert, they had something unique. They had a plate and they had homemade vanilla ice cream. Scoop, one dollop of ice cream on a plate, and they poured hot, very, very hot, homemade, they had carob chocolate, homemade carob chocolate, and it was hot, like hot chocolate sauce, and it was poured on the ice cream, and it was sizzling. Psss, all those fumes were coming. And Gopal was very small. This was in Mumbai before we came to America. He must be, I think, 3 or 4 years old. And that dessert was brought fresh, sizzling hot. And that time, Gaur Gopal Prabhu, many of you may not know, but His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu is an excellent chef and a connoisseur of cuisine. He is very, very expert in cooking and in tasting. He spent quite some time in Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir perfecting the art of making chocolate from carob without cocoa beans. And when I had spoken to him back then in 2006, he was doing this. He told me, I don't want our Radha Gopinath Mandir children to miss out on what their classmates or their peers in school experience when they eat Ghirardelli or Lindt or other premium chocolates. I want to prepare chocolate that tastes as good. And he used to personally make carob chocolate or carob candies, but without any caffeine, without any cocoa. And he used to wrap it very beautifully in different colored wrappers and give to our children. So some devotees learned the art of making carob chocolate from His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu. And they made hot chocolate sauce and homemade vanilla ice cream. So Gopal got scared when he saw that. He started crying. "Ah, what is that? What is that?" He was a young boy. He actually cried because all the fumes were coming. It was sizzling. He got scared. But then, when he started eating it, he simply loved it. And always he would ask us, "Can I have that vanilla ice cream with hot chocolate sauce? Vanilla ice cream with hot chocolate sauce." He just loved it. Similarly, in the beginning, the non connoisseurs of Bhakti Ras, the outsiders, neophytes, they may criticize Lord Ramachandra and Srimati Sita Devi. I beg your pardon. They may criticize Lord Ramachandra and unnecessarily take sides with Srimati Sita Devi or look at Srimati Sita Devi as a victim. Similarly, they may not understand why Sri Krishna was so cruel to leave the Vrajvasis in such heart-rending anguish. Initially, that's like Gopal crying, "Ooh, what is the scary dish? Will it burn me?" But then, as we make advancement, when we do Shrushrusho Shraddhadhanasya, Vasudeva Katharuchi, Swanmayat Sevaya Vipra, Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. When we do that, we hear from the Rasik Vaishnavas and we serve the Rasik Vaishnavas. Then Divya Dhyan Hriday Prakashita. Then we are able to understand the deeper tattva. And then we become addicted to those ecstasies, viraha bhav. But initially it looks very fearful. What is this? Why are the Brajvasis crying? And we will see more about their viraha as this beautiful Brihad Bhagavatamrita continues. So from the outside it appears to be suffering. To help newcomers to the devotional process understand Viraha Bhav, Shri Krishna speaks the current verse, comparing the ecstasy of Viraha Bhav to the pleasurable sensation of relief from pain, a relief with which everyone is familiar. All of us know how it feels. Just a few days ago, I was eating something, and as crazy as it may sound, I was given some dish, very nice, palatable dish to eat, and I was eating with a fork. And I was eating with such a gusto, over enthusiastically, I put the fork inside, and the fork hit my hard palate and caused an ulcer, which was hurting for the last 4 or 5 days. I have been suffering, just caused an ulcer, and every time I brush, it used to bleed and everything. The palate, hard palate. I would use the toothbrush to scrape it to clean it and it to start bleeding. It was not healing 5, 6 days. And now today it's healed. So when I touch my hard palate with my tongue, it feels so good. It feels normal. Otherwise, I has to feel a hot ulcer there. So when we suffer from any ailment and that ailment resolves, goes away, it is a great relief. Ah, no more ulcer like that. This everybody has experienced. All of us have experienced, or we are struggling from a cold. We are coughing, we are sneezing, we are having runny nose, we're feeling miserable, congested, fever, body ache, weakness, cannot smell anything. And then when the signs and symptoms of the respiratory infection go away and we are feeling normal, it feels so good. Ah, I don't have to carry handkerchief, I don't have to carry tissues, I don't have to embarrass myself and worry everybody by sneezing and coughing in their presence. Everybody looks, oh my God, what infection are you going to give us? We feel good when we are restored back to health. This we have all experienced. A person may struggle to achieve some object of satisfaction, and though his struggle may be painful, when he achieves his object, the pain turns into joy. So when we are suffering from ill health, we are waiting, waiting, waiting. When will I feel better? And when we feel better, when the symptoms and signs of that disease go away completely, we are restored to normal health, we feel such relief. So, what happened? That suffering of the disease has turned into joy. Similarly, Shri Krishna is saying that my devotees feel viraha, but when they will meet with me, that viraha increases the sweetness of milan. The separation increases the bliss of reunion. The pain turns into joy. And the more we suffered, the more joy we'll experience. Haribol. The ecstatic distress and even the viraha is ecstatic because externally only there is separation. However, internally there is union because internally we are remembering Krishna. Ha, Krishna, where are you? Where are you? So internally we are experiencing the sweetness of Krishna. So even viraha is ecstatic. And then when there is milan, it is even more ecstatic. And then when there is viraha, it's even more ecstatic because now we have lost Krishna. And when there is milan, there is even more ecstasy. And then separation, even more intense remembrance of Krishna, more spiritual ecstasy, more spiritual internal bliss. That is the meaning of Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam. Every step, whether you are on this part of the river of Prem Pravaha, whether you are on this type of this side, this bank of the river of Prem, as the Leela goes on, Pravaha means flow. As the Leela goes on, the bliss only increases. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. The word uses Ambudhi. Ambudhi means ocean. The ocean is just rising and rising and rising and rising at every step, every moment. Because Krishna is eternal and unlimited, Ananta. His Premanand, his Bhakti Rasanand is also eternal and unlimited, Ananta. The ecstatic distress of Viraha Bhav may appear similar to the pleasure that follows pain, but as expressed here by the phrase Sampanna Vat, as if experiencing. This is only the external appearance. In reality, the ecstasy of separation comes not from the eventual meeting and enjoying with one's beloved, but from the pain of separation itself. So, Viraha Bhav itself is ecstatic. But Viraha serves to make the joy of union even more exceedingly relishable. That ecstasy is complete satisfaction in which one never feels any insufficiency. Complete satisfaction is there in that ecstasy of viraha, separation. That ecstasy may be compared to the pleasure of gratification after deprivation, but actually it is much more sublime. So it is like someone performing Nirjala Ekadashi and is with wonderful devotees. There is wonderful Hari Katha going on. Kirtan going on, dancing going on. Process is blissful. And then during Paran time, nice Krishna Prasad is served. So both are ecstatic. This was also ecstasy, this is also ecstasy. Deprivation is also ecstasy, and satisfaction of the hunger is also ecstasy. The mind of an ordinary person is relieved when he can rejoin those he loves and again gratify his senses in their association. But a pure devotee's greatest ecstasy arises from serving and remembering Krishna in separation, called as Vipralambha Seva. It is service in separation. How our Shabri Devi performed bhajan. Every day she would prepare for the arrival of Ram and Lakshman. Today they will come. Today they will come. There was no notification. There was no RSVP. Nothing. Her guru, Shri Matanga Rishi, had told her hundreds of years ago that two youthful princes, Rajkumars from Ayodhya will come, Ram and Lakshman, and I want you to stay and serve them. Bas, they will come in the future. कब आएंगे पता नहीं. So every day she would prepare, hoping that Ram and Lakshman will come. But that daily preparation was her sadhana, and it was blissful. So there's ecstasy that arises from serving and remembering Krishna in separation. Shri Krishna continues, Ichet punastadrishameva bhavam klishtam kathanchit tadabhavatasya yesham na bhati timate pitesham gadopakari smritida priyanam. One may want to feel that separation again and may indeed feel distressed if one cannot. Haribol. This is extreme now. One may want to feel that separation again. See, if Krishna wants, he can perform Lila where there is only union. Actually, in some Sampradaya, Rasik Sampradaya of Vrindavan, they meditate on Radha and Krishna always together. Priya Pritam are always together in the Nikunja. There is never any separation. Every day Radha Krishna do Nauka Vihar. Every day Radha Krishna play Holi. Every day Radha Krishna they do Yamuna Vihar. And every day Radha Krishna get married. That is their Ashtakali Leela. There is Nikunja, there is Srimati Radharani, there are Sahacharis, there is no Yashoda, no Nanda, no Baladev, no Subal, no Ujwal, no Madhumangal, no Shridam, no Sudam, nothing. No Manjaris, only Radha Krishna and Sahacharis in the Nivritta Nikunja. Always there is only union. There is no concept of Viraha. There is no concept of Bhramar Geet. There is no concept of Gopi Geet. There is Milan. There is no concept of Shri Krishna leaving Vrindavan. There is no concept of Uddhav Sandesh. There is no concept of Akrur Manorath. Always together. The version of Radha Krishna Leela that is presented by Srimad Bhagavatam includes both. Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Rasa Leela and Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Viraha Leela. Both. If Sri Krishna wanted, and Srimati Radharani wanted, or Sita and Ram wanted, they could have presented a Leela where there is no separation. And they lived happily ever after, like Lakshmi Narayan. And they lived happily ever after. They are never separated. Lakshmi Narayan are never separated. They are always in the Vaikuntha as Vaikunteshwar and Vaikunteshwari. Shri Shri Lakshmi Narayana. And in their own way, that is perfect, complete, and glorious, and very sweet. However, Radha and Krishna, they did not manifest their Leela plain vanilla flavor, sweet and nice. They put the hot, sizzling sauce of separation. Appears disturbing to some, like Gopal got disturbed. But the Rasik Vaishnavas who are into it, only they know why Radha and Krishna deliberately, every time, want Vipranamba. There's a unique ecstasy in Vipranamba. Therefore, Radha and Krishna want Viraha. Sita Ram are sitting happily at Panchavati near Nasik. The Adhyatma Ramayana describes this pastime. It's a conversation between Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati. It's a Sanskrit literature called Adhyatma Ramayana. Sita and Ram are sitting together happily at Panchavati. And Lord Ramachandra tells Sita ji that, shall we experience some viraha? And Sita ji says, whatever is your desire, Prabhu. And then Ravan is called. Aja. So Ravan doesn't know because of the Leela Shakti and the curse of the Chatusana brothers, four Kumar brothers. But he's actually facilitating what Sita and Ram want. He is a Kashtera Putali. He's a puppet, doesn't know. He thinks he's a puppeteer. The puppeteer thinks, the puppet thinks I'm puppeteer. That is Krishna Leela. Socho. Therefore, Krishna says, among the cheaters, I'm the greatest cheat. He'll make you feel you are the, yes, you are in charge. Little does the in charge person know that I am being a puppet in the hands of the Ichha Shakti of Krishna. So, because Viraha is so sweet, Radha and Krishna want to experience Viraha. Sitaram want to experience Viraha. But the non-Rasik Vaishnavas cannot understand because these are all topics of Rasatattva. One has to have some eligibility, some adhikar to enter into that realm of understanding. One may want to feel that separation again and may indeed feel distressed if one cannot get. Haribol. Such is the sweetness of Viraha Bhav. Thus, a person who can remind one of a beloved not present is considered the most sincere and helpful person. Shunite shunite Prabhu santosha apar. Bole 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 Prabhu bole bar bar. प्रभु कहे कि तुम्हें कोई रहित आचंबिते आशी प्यायबो Krishna Lilamrit. One who reminds a person of the beloved when the person is distressed, that is the best friend. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam. Kavibhiriditam. Why Kavibhiriditam means the great Kavis, the great Rasik Vaishnavas have written Krishna Katha. Tava Katha Amritam Kavibhir Iditam. Your Katha, Krishna Katha, has been written by the Kavis. Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahamuni Krite. The Kavis, great learned poets, Rasiks have written. And it is for Tapta Jivanam. It is for people like us who are suffering. And those who are Bhurida Jana, those who are most munificent ones, they Bhuvi Grinanti. They travel over Bhuvi, they travel over the world Grinanti. Grinanti means keep repeating, keep repeating, keep repeating. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And they start Bhagavatam class wherever they go. They speak about Krishna. Those are Bhuridajana. They are the most munificent people. Thus, a person who can remind one of the beloved, not present, is considered the most sincere and helpful friend. Haribol. Reminding everyone of Krishna. The neophyte mind may still be confused. That mind may think, quote, according to the axiom that pleasure leads to pain and pain to pleasure, the abundant joy felt by an elevated devotee in prema bhakti is bound to give way to disappointment when circumstances change, as in this world they always do. You are sitting with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is riding on Subhadra's chariot. The chariot is gliding down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, on the streets of San Francisco and other places, London. Wonderful Kirtan is going on, Harinam Sankirtan, thousands of devotees are there. Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful, inspiring address to all the assembled devotees. Srila Prabhupada is smiling, he's throwing Maha flowers into the crowd, and everybody is happy. And then Srila Prabhupada is lying down on a bed in a small room in Raman Reti Vrindavan, departing from this world. He is reduced to skin and bones, emaciated, thin. How painful is that? How painful is that? The abundant joy felt by an elevated devotee in Prema Bhakti is bound to give way to disappointment when circumstances change, and as in this world, they always do. Always circumstances will change in this world. The more one is elated now, the more one will suffer depression later. Premananda is greater than the ecstasy of worshipping God in mere reverence, and certainly much greater than the ecstasy of impersonal identification with the Supreme. Therefore, when the bliss of prema is interrupted by the pain of separation, one is plunged into the worst distress. To dispel this confusion, Sri Krishna now conclusively proves that the apparent pain of viraha bhav is in fact pleasure. Krishna is proving what? Conclusively that apparent pain of viraha bhav is in fact pleasure. Because there is internal union, connection with Krishna internally, and Krishna is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. You are connecting with Ananda Vigraha heart to heart. How can that be suffering? It is a pleasure. The hearts of devotees absorbed in Viraha Bhava are unavoidably compelled to seek more of it. Haribol. It's a chasak. It's an addiction. They cannot tolerate losing this ecstasy. Krishna's proof, therefore, is simple. How can anyone's heart feel the urge to suffer more and more pain unless the pain is really pleasure? Hari Hari. Outsiders may perceive a devotee's ecstasy as suffering, and the devotee may speak and act as if it were suffering, like Radharani is telling the bumblebee. But the truth must be just the opposite. And therefore, Krishna doesn't want to go back to Vrindavan. Let them enjoy the ecstasy of separation some more time. Judging from the strength of the devotee's urge to continue suffering, Viraha Bhav, that bhav must in fact be the ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna. A material example may help clarify this point. Now, these are all crude examples. Material examples cannot be taken literally, but they give some inkling in the right direction. Although the coldness of ice is the opposite of the heat of fire, ice placed on one's body may feel as hot or burning coal. In this example, the burning sensation from the ice is illusory. The numbing coldness is real. What is being referred to as technically, one has to understand medical science to really appreciate this example. But our acharyas, they were so knowledgeable, they had knowledge of medicine also. So, technically, in today's terms, this is called thermal injury. Please pay attention. It is called thermal injury. Thermal injury is of two types. Injury due to heat and injury due to cold. What happens when someone gets singed by a fire? The hand gets burnt. I have seen those third degree burns. The hand becomes literally like charcoal, black, burnt. And then I have seen when I was doing my residency in New York for 1 year, I have seen frostbite. There was a blizzard in December 2009 in the Northeast, and some homeless people. Homeless is a little not such a palatable word. So nowadays we are asked to refer to them as unhoused people. The unhoused people who don't have a residence, they live on the streets. They are uninsured, unhoused. Imagine being left on the sidewalk when the temperature is below freezing. What is going to happen? You spend the whole night with the chill factor of the sharp blowing winds. It's a very dangerous situation. There is core heat in the body, but it is the extremities that suffer the most. They are the most vulnerable. So people get frostbite. You can look at the pictures of frostbite. What happens to the digits, the fingers and the toes, when they are frost bitten, they become black. And you see side by side pictures of third degree burns, black, like charcoal. And frostbite, gangrene, charcoal. Both look charcoal. Both are thermal injuries. One is because of heat, one is because of cold. Look, now we have to do a rotation in wound care to know all these things in medical school in residency. Srila Sanatan Goswami sitting under the different trees of Vrindavan 500 years ago knows this science. This example actually is given by Srila Rupa Goswami also. The thermal injury caused by burning coal and thermal injury caused by a block of ice. Both are thermal injuries, both cause gangrene, both cause destruction of tissues. Similarly, the pain of viraha bhav is a false appearance, disguising as a frostbite. Actually, it is not frostbite. Similarly, the pain of viraha bhav is a false appearance, disguising the reality of indescribable joy. Actually, both are thermal injuries. That's the point. Burning hot coal and freezing ice. Both cause thermal injury. Here, thermal injury means spiritual ecstasy. The difference between the ecstasy of separation from Krishna and the common sensation of being touched by ice is that the deep feeling of Virabhav is known only to a few, to Krishna and some of his most intimate devotees. Only they can know the bliss of Virabhav. Shri Krishna in this verse is referring especially to his own ecstasy in separation from the residents of Vraja, but his description equally applies to their ecstatic remembrance of him. Or, to be more correct, it applies to the Vrajvasis with the exception of the young gopis. These gopis are never relieved for a moment from the tension of Viraha Bhava, since even when together with Krishna, they are in anxiety about losing Krishna. Hari Bol, Prem Vaichitya, technically it is called. You are with Krishna and yet you are experiencing Viraha because you are thinking Krishna is going to leave me. Now the sun is going to rise and it will be time for Krishna to go home. Our Nikunja Lila will end. So with Krishna also you feel anxiety. They never lose touch with this ecstasy of viraha and so have no reason to think about regaining it because they're always in anxiety. Hare Krishna. Yesterday, Gaurang Prabhu said something very sweet. Shri Vrindavan Dham was a very peaceful place before Krishna appeared on the scene. Yet they do not consider their pain of separation a goal. for anyone to strive for because it burns them more sharply than a million forest fires. In the gopis' own words, Sarichaila Vanodesha Gavo Venu Rava Ime Sankarshana Sahayena Krishnena Charita Prabho Punah Punah Smarayanti Nandagopa Sutambata Shriniketais Tatpadakair विस्मर्तुं नैव शक्नुमः. Dear Uddhav, Prabhu, when Shri Krishna was here in the company of Sankarshan, Balram, one of the names of Krishna is Ramanuja, the younger brother of Ram. He enjoyed all these rivers, hills, forests, cows, and flute sounds. All these remind us constantly of Nandanandan Krishna. Indeed, because we see Krishna's footprints, which are marked with the divine symbols like Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, we can never forget Krishna. Vismartum na eva. We certainly cannot forget Krishna. Vismartum is forget. Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 47, 49, and 50. As this state, beautiful verses, no? As this statement implies, the gopis do not worry about the pain of forgetting Krishna because forgetting Krishna is something they cannot do even if they want to. we we have to pray to remember Krishna. We have to strive to remember Krishna. We have to cultivate Smaran, Krishna Smaran. However, the Vraj gopis, they are praying, they are begging Uddhav, please tell us some upaya where we can forget Krishna, so that at least momentarily we can be relieved of our anxiety. So true. This is the level of prem that the Vraj gopis have. They cannot forget Krishna even if they want to. A sadhak cannot remember Krishna even if they want to. The Vraj gopis cannot forget Krishna even if they want to. Hari bol. Therefore, Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadu Vargenaya Kalpita. No one can figure out, imagine a method of Upasana, worshipping Krishna. Upasana means worshipping Krishna better than the Vrajavadhus, the Vrajanganas, the Vrajagopis, young damsels of Vraj. Their Upasana of Krishna is most Ramya. Ramya means most beautiful, most attractive to Krishna, most pleasing to Krishna, most enjoyable for Krishna, most relishable for Krishna is the bhajan of the Vraj gopis. Ramya Kachid Upasana. Therefore, Vrindavana Ramya Sthana Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Mano Hara Abreta Kalindi Re Raja Hamsa Keliko Tahe Shobhe Kanaka Kamala Tarama Dehima Pitha Ashtadale Beshtita Ashtadale Pradhana Naika Taramade Ratnasane Bosiyache Duijane Shama Sange Sundari Radhika Orupa Lavanya Rashi Amiya Pariche Kasi Hasya Pari Hasya Sambhashane Narottama Dasa Kohe Nitya Leela Sukha Mohe Sadai Sphuruka Mora Mana Shri Narottama Das kahe, Nitya Leela Sukham hai. My only happiness is the Radha Krishna Nitya Leela, Ashtakali Leela, which goes on eternally in Paravyom, Golok Vrindavan. Sadai Sphuruka Mora Mane. Let that Nitya Leela always be spurit, always be manifest in my Manas Patal, on the stage of my mind, in the core of my heart. Let Nitya Lila always manifest, because that is my only happiness. Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Hemava Divya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. They sometimes, the Vraj Gopis, would like to forget Krishna to avoid the ever increasing agony of remembering him. And certainly they do not need to ask to be put into a fire of separation. They're already there, deep in the fire of separation. They're in the middle of it all. The Vraj Gopis feel the pain of separation from Sri Krishna constantly and in a unique way. Each Gopi remembers how Krishna spoke to them, how Krishna would say, "My dear one, I will never leave you. Prahasitam priya prema vikshanam viharanam chate dhyana mangalam rahasi samvido yaridi sprishaha kuhakano mana kshobhayanti." Oh kuhak, oh cheater. How many times rahasi samvido, in solitary places, secretly would tell us, embrace us and say, "My dear one, I will never leave you." Remembering those words of you, they are giving great pain. Kuhakano mana kshobhayanti. Kshobhayanti means giving great pain to our heart. Remembering your false promises, your confidential talks. That's the meaning of unique way. Krishna would not speak sarvajanik to the gopis. He would individually speak to them. Therefore, the happiness they enjoy is actually greater than that of anyone else. They are superior to all other servants of Krishna and to all his other intimate devotees. The Vraj Gopis are superior. Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. And then what happens? What Sri Krishna says next, Krishna willing, we will see tomorrow, my dear friends. Thank you very much for your association. Shri Brhad Bhagavatamrta ki jai, Shri Sanatan Goswami Pad ki jai, our beloved founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Jai.
Jai Jai
Jai
Shri
Shri Ram.
Radhe
Jai
Shyam.
Ram.
Thank you
Sabko
so
Mere
much,
Shri
Guruji.
Vrindavan.
Prabhu